Here's an interview that a lot of y'all might have missed that we want y'all to take a listen to from my boy Eric B. Eric B was the guy that was going to be running the Death Row East, and y'all can hear this conversation between him and John and I, and it should be a good listen to for y'all. I want y'all to take a listen to it. This is Eric B, who's going to be the president of Death Row East.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry about
that
that.
I'm an actor, a movie star, an activist. He's my little brother.
Mm-hmm.
So we took it hard. I'll never forget myself and MC Hammer when we got the news that we had just left the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in. We were down the block at a restaurant having breakfast, and then everybody came out, was crying, and people. And then we had pagers, and my pager kept going off. They said, "Hey, Eric, Tupac just died." I said, "Tupac ain't just died. I just left the hospital."
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Man, Eric, you better get back." So we went back to the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody had sad faces standing around. Me and Hammer looked and said, "Oh man."
Damn.
And there's a park there's a park
Mm-hmm.
down there in Vegas. I think it's called Sunset Park. It's by Mike Tyson's old house down there. Me and Hammer sat in that park for about 4 or 5 hours and just sat there and didn't even talk to each other.
Damn.
We sat there until the sun went down and just sat there. We had our heads down. That's how much it affected us. We sat in that park at least 4 or 5 hours until the sun went down and didn't even talk. I didn't say nothing to him, and he didn't say nothing to me, and we just sat there in disbelief, that our little brother was gone.
Right. Okay. When they had like a private, like little, I think they had like not a vigil, but they had like a little ceremony at the beach. Did you attend that? Where like the mom and
No,
okay.
no,
You didn't go
no,
to
no,
that?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no. Because a lot of because something was said to me that I'll take to my grave that I didn't like, and I still don't like it. And I'm gonna take it to my grave. Somebody else will tell it.
Okay.
But people were saying silly stuff that they wanted to do and stuff like that, and I said, "Yo, I'm out, man.
Okay.
This is where I get off the ship at."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
the interview
ashes.
talked about it. They
Yeah.
talked about it on Vlad interview, so
Yeah.
it's kind of out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so some stuff that they were talking about doing, and I said, "Yo, I'm out of here, man." I said, "I'm gone.
Mm.
We ain't talking, crazy like this. I'm out."
Right. Right. Okay. When Tupac passed, after he passed, how did the chain events happen to where Death Row East didn't happen? Was it when Suge, got sentenced, or was it before that you thought, all right, maybe
No,
it's
it
not gonna
started. What happened was it just seemed like one thing after the other.
Mhm.
Tupac died. Suge went to jail. It just snowballed out of control.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Whole thing started snowballing. Out of control,
gotcha.
and then it just fell apart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the movie All Eyes on Me, they kind of misrepresented it a little bit. They tried to make like it was Tupac's label. What were your thoughts on the movie, and what were your thoughts in particular on how they presented Death Row East within that movie?
You know what? I didn't even really the movie, man. I know the true story. Didn't watch the movie. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole movie. I think that the parts that I've seen, Demetrius Shipp, his son did a fantastic job looking like Tupac, playing Tupac. And what was so funny, his son was around us as a little kid and used to wear a karate uniform and used to come to the studio and listen to Tupac make music.
Mm.
And then, fast forward years later, he plays Tupac.
Right, right.
So, just to see Demetrius' son, actually take on and embody that role of Tupac, that was one of the greatest moments for me, just to see, somebody that was really with us every day, to take over that role as Tupac.
Mm.
So, that for me was the greatest thing that I've seen. I'll never forget. He was a little kid with a karate uniform on. I used to be around there. And his father, Demetrius Shipp, is one of the producers. He did Tupac. He did Michael Jackson, Remember the Time, and other stuff like that. And to see him, to go from a little boy to a young man and actually, get up and step up on a big stage like that. I think, man, it takes a lot of balls to do that, man, to fill Tupac's shoes and never be just your first acting job to ever have. you gotta commend the kid, man. The kid did a fantastic job, looked like Tupac, embodied Tupac and everything. I was proud about that moment. That was the defining moment for me that I was proud of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we had Demetrius over here about 4 or 5 months. He did an interview with us, and yeah. So they know about Demetrius a little bit. The daddy, Meech, Meech.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I forget which documentary it was or which book. It was something was said, and you would probably know more about this than anybody. Somebody said that they had set up some sort of meeting between Puffy and Suge during the height of the beef or whatever, and that Suge didn't show up. Like it was going to be some sort of summit thing. Were you privy to anything like that happening, or was that just kind of rumors and people talking?
Just people talking.
Okay.
People talk. I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I remember Big D was trying to do something. I think I heard something about Big D was trying to get him to come to talk. I don't know if it ever happened, but he was trying to get in the middle of it and get it squashed. You remember the night outside?
I mean, but it really,
Yeah.
yeah, but it really wasn't, man. It really wasn't a beef.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask me, it really wasn't a beef, man. It was just, one thing leads to another, and tempers flare. And I can't really say that Suge hated Puff or Puff hated Suge. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's more, we get into a scuffle and, that's the end of it, but we never sat down as men to resolve it.
Mm. Okay.
So that wasn't Suge's everyday thing. Oh, man, let's do something to Puff, or Puff saying, let's do something to Suge. So, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even, I think it was just the two of them. You got into it one time, and then other people perpetuated it and kept it going.
Okay. All right. Did you have any sort of relationship with Biggie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Biggie, he's from Brooklyn, and, he lived down a block from where we were at in the projects. He lived down on Carlton Avenue at one time. So I used to see him, him and his family had moved down there. And I used to see him, when he first started, he used to come around.
Mm-hmm.
He used to come around to our studio in Queens.
Okay.
He used to hang out with Nas, him and Nas and a gentleman from Brooklyn named Lou Hobbs. All of them used to hang out together. He used to come by my studio in Queens.
Okay. Had Pac lived, you know and Biggie a little bit, do you feel the situation would have gotten worked out, or do you think it would have continued to, I don't want to say escalate, but just them not equal, Pac and Big, that is?
No, I think it would have got worked out. I mean, one thing about Pac, when when you hit him with the voice of reason, he can't turn back.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell him, hey, Pac, look, it's like this, it's like that. And one thing he always wanted to see is his people go to the next level. So if you told Pac, hey, Pac, you and Big with this silly nonsense, man, y'all stopping your people from going to the next level, Pac would have withdrawn, and waved the white flag and said, come on, Big, let's go get some money.
Mm. Okay.
One thing about him, he never got in the way of progress. And if you told Pac, hey, Pac, you getting in the way of progress. Mm-hmm. We're trying to go forward. We're trying to do this and trying to do that. And, you got a silly beef with this guy for no reason. You're stopping progress. Mm-hmm. He, immediately, he would have said, you know what, man, let's just go sit down and let's work this out and move on.
Mm. And that's kind of what happened with the Nas situation, from what you were saying, right?
Yes. Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing. Once he understood, and then he talked to Nas, and Nas told him to his face and said, Nas told him, brother, we ain't never supposed to got into a beef in the first place. I never had no problems with you. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, and let's be clear, it wasn't like Nas was scared of him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nas is saying, yo, I don't know where this is coming from. You know what I'm saying? Nas is very capable of defending himself. They had a great organization down there in Queensbridge, and a lot of people stood behind him, but it wasn't that type of movement. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of people. He could have defended himself. He could have did a lot of stuff, but he always said, yo, man, I don't know why this dude keep coming at me. I don't got no issues with him. Mm. And he told everybody around him, yo, y'all got to stand down. Yo, let it go. Until I say it's an issue, let it go. Okay. And, I want to be clear. It's not like Nas is some punk that you could have just ran over. Right. Nas just didn't want the problem, because when you got problems, nobody gets no money. Mm-hmm. And he had the mentality and said, yo, when everybody when you're at odds with everybody, nobody's going to get no money. But I want to be clear. It's not like Nas was a punk or something and Tupac was going to run over him. It was just, they were just bumping heads at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then cooler heads had to prevail.
Okay.